I see you've read the title and clicked on this video. Well, I'm going to be using the Generation 2 starters in Pokemon Soulsilver while randomizing the whole game. And of course, that means we're going to need a little bit of rules. This is part 1 of 2 parts where I play through the Johto region. If you're ready for the rules, let's get right into it. No items will be used mode. So we start this run just like any other, by choosing our character and name. We go with male and we are Bobby. Of course, the most important decision of our life is our starter Pokemon, which of course, like usual, is between Ghastly, Beautifly, or Onix. So I pick Beautifly and actually go to catch the Pokemon we want. Holy shit, Chikorita? First try? Let's go. That's crazy. On our squad we have Flex the Totodile, Leafy the Chikorita, and Cindy the Cyndaquil. These will be the Pokemon I use for the rest of the run and the only ones I can use in battle. After retrieving an egg and some running shoes, we encounter our first rival battle against our rival, Kyle, the only person who can rival Bobby. If it wasn't for our Flex learning Water Gun, we wouldn't have been able to touch him and probably would have lost the battle. We tell our mother goodbye, and off we go on our perilous journey. I like to think our first trainer battle is perfect for showing what's lying up ahead, so Trainer Joey is packing well. Let's see what he's got. Oh wow. He's got the top percentage of Kyogres. After taking down Joey's top percentage of Kyogre, we make our way to Bellsprout Tower, where nothing too interesting happens, so we can cut right to our first gym against Gymnast Christine, better known as Gym Leader Faulkner. He throws out a Tentacruel, and it was a little threatening, but it didn't really stand a chance against our starters. Then a Tangrowth comes out, and we sweep it away with Cindy. En route to our next city, we come across our first evolution with Cindy. I've been realizing the amount of XP we gain from these random encounters are incredibly high, so our level will always be on par with the gym leaders. Inside of Union Cave, we actually have our second evolution with Leafy. While looking for the second gym, I found Slowpoke well and had to assert my dominance on some Team Rocket members inside. I don't really know what they were doing, but I quite frankly didn't like it. Approaching the second gym leader, I thought it would be an easy sweep. It actually was pretty easy besides his Mew, and we managed to evolve Flex into his edgy teen counterpart, effectively turning my favorite Pokemon into one of the ugliest. At this point I wanted to hatch the egg I was given earlier on. Go ahead and take a guess before it hatches, I'll give you a little bit of time. Alright, you done? Oh, a little more, okay. Okay, are you done? Alright, well if you guessed Shuckle then you'd be right. We actually got a free Shuckle, and I named it Shucky if you were wondering. En route to Gym 3, we run into something very special. Ooh, here's some grandpa action. Yeah. Oh, some grandma too? Oh, fuck. Yeah, that was nice. Sadly, on our way to the gym leader, our Pokemon overleveled, so I only took one Pokemon into battle, making that Leafy. Honestly, it went way better than it had any right to be. Up next, I had another rival battle inside of a burned tower. A little bit unsafe, but I had to teach something to Kyle. Then I had my fourth gym battle. Nothing really to note here, I just kinda destroyed him. At this point, we're about halfway through the game and I'm realizing the challenge is much easier than I thought it would be. All the regular trainers are severely underleveled and give plenty of experience to keep my Pokemon properly leveled, even if I'm not challenging most of the trainers. Most trainers, including major battles, very rarely have 5, let alone 6 Pokemon, with the majority of them having either 3 or 4. In fact, no gym leaders have more than 4 Pokemon, with 2 of them only having 2 Pokemon. This makes the majority of battles either fair or tilted in our favor. Due to having the 3 main elements, we can have a nice balance of typings to switch in, but of course it comes down to RNG as well for what Pokemon we face off against. Luckily for us, Flex gets to learn plenty of coverage moves, the main ones being Ice, Dark, and Water. Mix that with our two other Pokemon and we will have fire and grass. Altogether we can hit most typings super effectively, so long as we can get a clean swap in. Now here's a little bit of a hot take. I think Meganium is pretty cool. Yeah, rage in the comments or whatever, I know it's not a common thing to hear, but it really is the hero to make this run a lot easier. Where Typhlosion and Feraligatr can deal a lot of damage quickly, Meganium is bulky and a really good support for both of them. It can set up Reflect and Light Screen, and it learns Synthesis, which you'll see becomes extremely useful in later fights, which means that we can tackle things at lower levels than we actually need to, but you'll see later that Meganium is really the true hero of this run. After crushing the 4th gym, we go and ruin a drunk man's life who's bothering this wonderful woman in a kimono. Then we head for the Lake of Rage, where bright new shiny lays in wait. Well, bright and shiny is relative, I guess. Now for the 5th gym. Obviously this guy only has 2 Pokemon, so I have the advantage and there's no way I can lose. It's literally impossible for me to lose this battle with my 3 bangers of Pokemon. I could not imagine a world where I lose this battle. That would actually be insane. If I lost this guy, I would have to end my Pokemon career. He has 2 Pokemon, and I'm super effective against both of them with all of my Pokemon. Literally impossible for me to lose. While surfing the 7 seas, I was able to evolve Flex into his final form after drowning a swimmer's Pokemon. Poggers. After sailing the seas, we make it to a lighthouse where we energize a Pokemon with some Energizer batteries and get the gym leader to run to their gym. Now we can take on the 6th gym leader. It's a clean 3-on-3, which I just so happen to win without much trouble. Not saying their team was bad, but my team was way better. Shortly after busting into the Team Rocket hideout, I was interrupted by 2 grunts that were nearly half of my level. Then I bullied a lab assistant into giving me his money. And guess what? My Leafy evolved into a Meganium. After storming through the hideout, Kyle decided to come up and be a dickhead by pushing me, then he stormed off. I then opened the leader to the Rocket's room and threw hands with him. Obviously, it was a clean sweep. After absolutely destroying Team Rocket, I went to face the next gym leader. Just like the Rocket hideout, this was very easy. Flex walled his entire team and one-shot each of them. Oh, and I didn't mention it yet, but I did find a Life Orb earlier in the run. That has been on Flex for a while, so that might have mattered a little bit, but like, not really. I got a call from the old man professor from back home, and he told me something was up at the radio tower. So I skedaddled my way over, and it's Team Rocket again. Like every other encounter, I took them down pretty easily. Well, mostly. The leader was slightly challenging, but he didn't really have the strongest Pokemon on his team of 6. Otherwise, he could have posted a real threat. Especially if I set fully evolved Pokemon to level 30 instead of 35. On another note, right after the battle we got Cindy to evolve into a Typhlosion. Our team is now fully assembled. So it turns out there's another secret base Team Rocket has, and Kyle met me there just to throw down. He put up a little bit of a threat, but again, if he had fully evolved Pokemon, I imagine he would have been a little bit more of a difficult fight. Once again, we had a fight with a big rocket baddie. However, this time we actually lost. It was quite close, but he got a nice horn drill on our Pokemon, and we had a burned Flex who KO'd himself. After a quick restart and a lad swap, we were able to easily take the win. After a chunk of exploration to reach the final town, we can finally face off against the last gym leader, fully evolved Pokemon 3-on-4. We are a bit underleveled for the fight, but I feel it helps with some difficulty on the line. Sadly, that's just still not enough to make this fight very hard. We still easily took her down and stole the 8th gym badge away. What I began to realize, however, is that we will be very underleveled for the Elite Four if I don't grind my Pokemon higher. So of course I try to stay underleveled to see how hard the fights may get. But before the Elite Four, we have some business to take care of. We need to make our way to the caves behind the gym and talk to some old men for the gym leader to finally give us the last badge and think we are worthy of her attention. Then we need to go and find the supreme legendary Pokemon causing havoc on the region before facing off with the Elite Four. So naturally we have to go and hit on some kimono girls by having Pokemon battles and then travel to some islands in the middle of the ocean. I'm not entirely sure why those kimono girls wanted me to beat them in a Pokemon battle, and I don't like beating women, maybe it's just something they're into, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So I beat the girls in the Pokemon battle and continue to the Whirl Islands. Now, because TMs are randomized in this run, I never actually got Flash. But because I'm a god gamer, I was able to navigate in the dark, not because of a map, and make it to our legendary encounter in record times. Despite having wrecked these women in Pokemon battles, they still showed up for the legendary battle and did some weird song and dance to please the beast. There was so much light, and bells were ringing, and things were flashing and happening, and I couldn't focus on what was in front of me. It was very distracting as these women went in circles around a rock. Then it happened. The earth rumbled and everything went silent. I, still in shock, watched as the beast emerged from the waterfall, gushing water in all directions, showing its immense presence and power in full display. The kimono girls were really putting their heart and souls into their routine. The beast flew in front of us and begged for me to come forth and fight it. This was it, life or death against Phione. Well, it was still a mythical Pokemon at least, so it had the spirit, I guess. So after killing the legendary Pokemon threatening the region, we head over the Victory Road to take on the Elite Four. It was at this point the game got mildly hard. First, I lost to Kyle. Not because he was good, but because I went into the battle thinking I would win with paralyzed Pokemon. So I guess he actually was good if he won, but I refused to believe Kyle was better than Bobby. After washing the blood from my Pokeballs, I headed back for vengeance. With clean Pokemon, we easily squashed Kyle. Though he put up a fair fight, I feel confident enough in saying, I'm just the better trainer. Now here's where the game finally was testing my wit. The Elite Four was by far the most challenging bit of the game, and here is why. Number 1, we're down 2 Pokemon to the Elite Four and 3 to the champion. Number 2, we're on par level-wise, but slightly under-leveled for the champion. Number 3, we lack in potential variety compared to the trainers because of only having 3 Pokemon, each of which are a single typing. Now, on the flip side, we do have some things going for us as well. Number 1, I found some very useful items. A Light Clay, Leftovers, and a Life Orb. Number 2, Meganium Worms reflect in Light Screen. And number 3, Feraligatr has 3 great coverage moves. So I'll break down my strategy. I want to typically start off with Meganium and set up both Reflect and Light Screen. Because I gave Meganium a Light Clay, these screens will last for 8 turns instead of 5. This will effectively reduce both physical and special damage by about half for as long as they're up, meaning I can take much less damage overall. This makes swapping Pokemon a whole lot less risky. Now, we also have Flex, who has a nice bulky defense stat and solid attack. Leafy has generally tanky stats, and Cindy has a great special attack stat and speed. This gives a well-rounded mix of stats, allowing each Pokemon to fulfill a certain role, and without all 3, we lack an essential role in the team. With this in mind, my general strategy to beat the Elite Four is to set screens, swap between Flex and Cindy to deal damage until the screens run out, then swap back to Leafy. Is this enough to win? I don't know, let's find out. So for the first battle, contrary to what I said, I started off for Flex for some reason against Will. This wasn't a great start, but Will used Nasty Pun on Shiftry while I swapped to Cindy and got an easy kill. Then Quillfish came out, and I took this opportunity to set up screens, knowing very well this might know a poison move, but it turns out this went very well for us. After taking down Quillfish, Will brought out his Dragonite, a threatening appearance for sure. Seeing that I ran out of screens, I took this time to set them up again. Luckily, taking no damage. I then brought out Flex to go for his Ice Fang to seal the deal. Easiest Dragonite ever. Next is Zangoose, a wildly powerful attacker, but I didn't even go for an attack, so we took an easy win over it. Last Pokemon on Will's team is a Delcatty, the least scary Pokemon he could have thrown out. Well, then it turned out to be the opposite. All of my Pokemon are male, and this Delcatty is female, which is really important, because this let Delcatty freely use Attract on all of my Pokemon, but it also knows Sing, so it would put all of my Pokemon to sleep as well, making it nearly impossible for me to attack each turn. Well, it didn't matter anyway, we only lost Cindy and then we were able to take the win in the end. Next is Koga. I led off with Leafy while Koga led with Bronzong. This is great for me to set up my screens, and I could easily take down Bronzong with Leafy's Magical Leaf. Then he threw out a camera up, so I switched out the Flex, and I easily swept him away with a Surf. For some reason, Koga sent in a Dugtrio next, and just another easy Surf. Then Bibarel came out. Everyone knows this is the god of Pokemon, so I need to be careful. I started to slash it down, but the real hero is that Bibarel wanted to spare me by taking itself down with Black Sludge. Lastly, Koga sent out his Deoxys, a wildly powerful Psychic-type legendary. Deoxys was able to sweep away Flex, but I managed to set up a light screen with Leafy. Due to this, Cindy was able to take a hit and deal back a powerful Lava Plume, burning the Deoxys. If I hadn't burned it, I probably would have lost due to Life Orb damage. So far so good. I'm feeling pretty good after these first two battles, and now I can go forth to challenge Bruno. Typically Bruno is very easy because he never really has very good Pokemon, and it seemed to be the case when he led off with Armaldo. I took this time to set up screens, and then I took it down with Flex. Second on the list is an Infernape. This is a pretty scary Pokemon because if it goes for close combat I can take a lot of damage, but I am easily able to knock it out. Third up is Gengar. I take 2 Shadow Balls but fire back with 2 Crunches. At this point, Flex is still at a solid amount of HP, but my screens are running out. Then Bruno pulls out the scariest Pokemon yet, a Latias. I try going for Ice Fang, but misclick and slash. Then I land an Ice Fang at the cost of getting knocked out. Bruno has a Citrus Berry on his Latias because it was his ace. This is where I take my first Elite Four loss. Latias swept through the rest of my team and I needed to restart. I was feeling like it was pretty possible though. On my second attempt I led off with Flex. I easily took down Armaldo and Infernape, but at the cost of taking a lot of damage. I tried to swap the Leafy to set up screens, but the Gengar landed a critical hit. With no screens set up, this run would quickly end as I couldn't outpower Bruno's team. Before the third try, I gave Cindy some TMs I found, but they didn't really help much because they did about as much as Flamethrower would do normally if they were super effective. I started with Leafy this time to set up early screens, and Bruno threw Latias out before Gengar. Flex was very healthy and screens were up, so I could take down Latias this time with Flex being near death. Gengar comes out and finishes the job, so I send out Leafy to set up screens again for Cindy. Cindy manages to take down Gengar and do huge damage to Bruno's newly found Clefable. I got lucky in the end as Leafy had Magical Leaf and could ignore the Clefable's Minimize. I was lucky not to be one-shot by Metronome and take down Bruno just barely. Now our fourth member of the Elite Four, Karen. Of course I started with Leafy and set up screens. Karen starts with a Fortress and Cindy was able to come in and take it out. Then a Pachirisu came in and was taken down with 2 Flamethrowers after hitting a Super Fang. Next is Jinx, an easy one-hit KO. Then Heatran shows up. It's kinda scary, but my screens are up, so its crunch doesn't really do anything, and it lets Flex easily take it out. Finally, Karen throws out a Dusknoir. There isn't much it can do at this point against my 3 Pokemon, so I just end up overpowering it in the end. Finally, we have the champion battle. Our final battle is here now, and it's the battle we've been working so hard to get to. This is the trainer with the highest level Pokemon in the region, and a full team of 6. I was able to set up my screens on Lance's Blissey. Due to Blissey not being able to do much damage, Flex could come in and take it down. Then Lance throws out his own Meganium, so I sent my own out to try and set up screens alongside his own. This let me easily call in Cindy and take down his Meganium and 2 Flamethrowers. Lance's third Pokemon is an Azumarill. Nothing too hard, so Meganium came in and did its thing, but the Azumarill did set up a Rain Dance, which could potentially affect Cindy's Flamethrower. After an easy clap, Lance throws out his own Masquerain. He really caught his own Lake of Rage fish, but couldn't even make it shiny. So I incinerated it, and then he throws out an Electrode. Luckily he didn't attack, and Sydney landed a critical hit. This left his final Pokemon, Lance's ace, Victory Bell. Well, I took that down pretty easily, of course, with Cindy. And that was the Johto region! Honestly, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be, but it could just be due to lucky RNG with the kind of Pokemon that each trainer had. I would say these starters actually work pretty well with one another. They can cover each other's stats pretty well. They get a good bit of coverage moves as well. Meganium was definitely the all-star of the team with its screens. Without the screens, I don't think I would have been able to take on the Elite Four at the level I was at. Bruno was hard enough with his Latias as it was, so without screens, I don't think I would have been able to survive long enough to win. Not to mention how lucky it was for me to find Light Clay, which increases the amount of turn screens would last. Without that, it would have been a whole nother battle, I'm sure of it. If I were to do this challenge again in this game, I think I would probably set a lower level cap for fully evolved Pokemon, maybe around 25 to 30-ish, so that more gym leaders have fully evolved Pokemon and more normal trainers do as well. That would hopefully make it just a bit harder. Maybe I'd also not fully evolve my Pokemon, but on second thought, that could be a little too artificial for the difficulty, seeing how the Elite Four had gone. I think having base form starters or second form starters would just be too weak compared to something like a Tyranitar or a Salamence or an Arceus, so I think having the fully evolved Pokemon is the way to go. For now, that has only been part 1 of the Soulsilver playthrough. Leave a like and comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to stay tuned for part 2, where I take on the Kanto region. Honestly, I think the Kanto region will be much more difficult than the Johto. The levels will go up. It's only up from here. More trainers, more Pokemon for the trainers, higher leveled Pokemon. It's a whole nother mess. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye!